One of the large remaining objectives in this unit is drawing. Now, what you're required to do is to do a drawing for the brochure using the drawing tools that are available inside the program. There are simple drawing tools, and if we look at the toolbar on the left, the flyout tool there has some shapes in it for drawing, and there's the drawing line tool there which has a pencil, a pen and a straight line tool, and we'll use the pencil tool to do that side of it. Now, they're adequate for what we want. They use a method called vector drawing, and vector drawing has the advantage that it can be increased or decreased in size without the resolution changing. Basically, you get just as much quality in it whether you make it very big or very small, and that's different to bitmap drawing programs like Paint, where when you draw them and expand them, you get that pixelation, those little square boxes turning up. So first things first, now what I've looked at, and you do not need to do this, you can draw whatever you want as long as it's appropriate, but what I've looked at drawing is some rice, because after all the brochure's about free rice. So I've got a picture of some rice, and I can see here that the stalk goes from a green through to that sort of golden colour, and I can see that the grains of rice, there's a single row of them, and they're sort of like alternating along the line of the stalk. And I don't need to be any more accurate than that. So I've opened a plain page, and all I'm going to do on this is practice drawing, and I suggest that you do the same. It's perfectly possible, of course, that if we do a drawing on here, we can copy it and paste it into our brochure, and rather than actually draw it within the brochure itself. So let's have a look. We've got the quick shape flyout there, and I'm going to pick that shape there, right? If I just draw a shape and let go, now I can increase it. Look, see, I can alter the shape of it. I can also go to the corner and rotate it, and of course what I've got in mind with this is that this is going to be one of the grains of rice. Now remember what I said about size, so it doesn't make any difference how big we make it now, because we'll just contract it in size later. So if I look here at gradient fill, now you see that one there, I think there, that one. No, that one looks quite good. That looks like the sort of colour range you could expect from a grain as it begins to ripen. And if I go to the corner, I want to just make that, whoops, I don't know what that means. Alright, I just want to make that smaller. So that's a grain. Now, what I'm going to do in a while is I'm going to copy that and then copy it dozens and dozens of times, and that will give me all the grains. The only other tool that I need to use is the pen tool. And the thing about the pen tool is I want that sort of like curved shape there, and if I let go, see how it curves out, makes a nice clean curve out of it. Line, the line tool at the top there, it's currently 1 point. I think if I go to 2.5 point, that's a bit thicker, that seems okay. Go to colour, and if you see those two, that's the colour for fill, that's the colour for line. So I click on line, and then I'll pick that colour there. Right, and that's okay, that's near enough. Right, go back to the black selection tool, that arrow there, and then just get that grain and copy it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it into position here, and then Control V, and there's my copied one. So I'll move that one next to it. Now obviously the angle will change as I go along, and I'll need to keep a track on that one. Let's have a look. If I do there, I put that one there. Oh yeah, that's beginning to look a bit like, isn't it? Okay, Control V, get another grain. Yeah. Okay, if I do just a couple more, Control V. That's beginning to look a bit like rice. So now just a couple more. One there and right, now I've got the black select tool there, look. If I now draw a marquee, a shape over all of it, right click and go to group objects. Now what I've got is one thing, right? So now if I copy that one, Control V, I've got my second piece of rice. And my third. So what looked like quite a challenging initial idea has come out quite well. And there's my rice. So if I just select all of those, right click and group, and there's my drawing, complete. And that took about 3 minutes. Right, so you need a drawing somewhere on your brochure. You could set it faint, you could give it a bit deal of transparency and put it behind a page, possibly the page that you have to do the form on. That might be a reasonable one because that page is laid out rather differently to the others. Right, I've got my picture here, and if I go to edit, copy, and then open the brochure, you can see all the pages of the brochure. You can see the page 8 just there. I'll just maximise this for you. There's at the bottom there is page 8 of 8, application form. Right, it's into there. If I do edit, paste, the drawing goes in. And then if I go onto there and do right click, and what shall we go for? Format, transparency. Type of transparency is solid. And if I set the transparency to around about 50%, there you go. It's sort of like the drawing's clearly there, but it's faded away, so we could put the application form over the top of that and it would look okay. Right, so that's fully dealing with the drawing now.